reality is not physical. It's pure mind. Jhon Wheeler, a theoretical physicist, proposed ideas that suggest reality is fundamentally rooted in information and mind rather than physical matter. His famous phrase, "it from bit," implies that physical reality emerges from information processing rather than existing as an independent material structure. The observer's role in reality. Jhon Wheeler's concept of the participatory universe suggests that the observer is not a passive witness to reality, but an active participant in shaping it. This idea builds on quantum mechanics, particularly the double-slit experiment, which shows that particles behave differently when observed, implying that consciousness plays a role in determining physical outcomes. Key aspects of the observer's role. Reality is not pre-existing, but emergent. Wheeler suggested that the universe does not exist in a fixed state until it is observed. Instead, reality is brought into existence through observation, a radical shift from the classical Newtonian view of a solid, objective world. Quantum mechanics and consciousness. In quantum mechanics, a particle exists in a superposition, multiple states, until it is measured. This means the act of observation collapses possibilities into a single, definite outcome, making the observer an essential part of reality's unfolding. The delayed choice experiment. Wheeler's thought experiment showed that even after a photon has passed through a slit, the way it is measured later determines whether it behaved as a particle or a wave. This suggests the present choice affects the past, reinforcing the idea that reality is not fixed but responsive to observation. The participatory universe. Wheeler took this further, proposing that reality itself is constructed through cumulative acts of observation. The universe, in a sense, is incomplete without conscious beings to observe and interact with it. Integration with your areas of interest. Biblical perspective. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23 verse 7. The idea that observation shapes reality aligns with scriptural themes of faith, perception, and divine mind shaping existence. It also resonates with John 1 verse 1, that reality is formed through logos, the divine word, or mind. Walter Russell's teachings. Russell emphasized that the universe is a construct of mind, and matter is merely an expression of divine thought. He also spoke about the illusion of physicality, much like Wheeler's assertion that reality is information-based rather than material. Thomas Troward in Mental Science. Troward's work suggests that conscious thought directs the creative process of life, much like Wheeler's participatory reality. If observation shapes existence, then intentional thought can influence physical reality, a core belief in metaphysical and mental science traditions. It from bit. The universe as information. Jhon Wheeler's phrase, "it from bit," suggests that physical reality emerges from information, not the other way around. In other words, the universe at its core is not made of particles or energy, but bits of information, much like a cosmic computation. Key concepts of it from bit. Reality is information-based, not material. Wheeler proposed that everything we call physical is derived from binary yes/no choices, essentially bits of information. This aligns with how digital systems function, where complex realities emerge from simple zeros and ones. The observer creates reality. In quantum mechanics, a particle doesn't have a definite state until it is observed. This suggests that physical existence emerges through measurement, as if reality is computed when needed, rather than existing as a fixed, independent structure. The universe is a cosmic computation. Some modern physicists, like Seth Lloyd, extend Wheeler's idea by suggesting the universe functions like a vast quantum computer where fundamental laws are like processing rules generating physical form. Mind precedes matter. If reality is fundamentally informational, then consciousness plays a role in shaping it. This bridges the gap between physics and metaphysical ideas that suggest thought influences reality. Connections to your interests. Biblical perspective. In the beginning was the Word, Logos, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1 verse 1. The idea that the universe is spoken into existence through information, logos equals divine intelligence, strongly aligns with Wheeler's notion that reality emerges from information, not matter. Walter Russell's teachings. Russell emphasized that the universe is a thought wave universe, not a material one. His ideas mirror Wheeler's by proposing that what we perceive as solid matter is really an illusion of form shaped by divine intelligence. Thomas Troward and mental science. Troward argued that the mind is primary and shapes reality, much like Wheeler's idea that reality emerges from bits of information. If it from bit is true, then intention, belief, and thought directly shape the experience of reality. The participatory universe. Reality requires consciousness. Jhon Wheeler's participatory universe theory suggests that the universe is not a fixed, objective reality, but something that requires conscious observers to exist. This idea is a natural extension of quantum mechanics, particularly the observer effect, where the act of measurement determines physical reality. Key ideas of the participatory universe. Reality is not independent. It responds to observation. Quantum experiments, like the double-slit experiment, show that particles behave as waves of probability until they are observed, at which point they collapse into a definite state. Wheeler extended this idea to the entire cosmos, proposing that the universe needs observation to take form. The universe knows it's being observed. Wheeler's delayed choice experiment suggests that even after a particle has passed through a slit, the way it is measured later determines whether it behaved as a wave or a particle, implying that the present can influence the past. This challenges the classical notion of time and suggests that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality itself. No reality without awareness. If the universe exists only in a state of potential until observed, then consciousness is essential to the existence of reality. Wheeler even speculated that the entire universe came into being because future observers, us, are here to witness it. Life and consciousness complete the universe. Unlike classical physics, which assumes a mind-independent universe, Wheeler's model suggests that the universe is an evolving process that depends on participatory observation. This leads to the idea that mind is not a byproduct of the universe. Mind is fundamental to the universe's existence. Connections to your areas of interest. Biblical perspective. God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Genesis 1 verse 31. The act of divine observation and perception brings creation into completion. John 1 verse 1. Logos as the foundation of reality aligns with the idea that mind precedes material existence. Walter Russell's teachings. Russell taught that the universe is a construct of divine thought, and that reality unfolds through the perception and recognition of intelligence, mirroring Wheeler's participatory model. Thomas Troward and mental science. Troward emphasized that the mind is the creative force shaping reality, aligning with the idea that consciousness plays an active role in the manifestation of the universe, integrating this into the path of the unshaken. The participatory universe concept could serve as a foundation for a chapter on perception, faith, and reality creation. It reinforces the idea that your awareness, belief, and focus shape the world you experience, a principle found in both quantum physics and spiritual teachings. The delayed choice experiment. Reality responds to observation. Jhon Wheeler's delayed choice experiment challenges our conventional understanding of time, causality, and the role of the observer in shaping reality. It suggests that the way we choose to observe a system can retroactively determine what happened in the past, reinforcing the idea that reality is not fixed but participatory. The experiment. How it works. A photon's choice, particle or wave. A single photon, light particle, is sent toward a beam splitter, which can either allow the photon to continue as a whole, acting as a particle, or split it into two possible paths, acting as a wave. Two paths, two possible outcomes. If the photon acts like a wave, it travels both paths simultaneously and interferes with itself. If it acts like a particle, it chooses one path only and does not interfere. The observer's role, a delayed choice. Here's where it gets interesting. The decision to observe the photon is made after it has already traveled through the setup. If we measure which path it took, it behaves as a particle, even though it should have already acted as a wave. If we don't measure, it behaves as a wave, maintaining both possibilities. Reality adjusts retroactively. Even though the photon has already traveled, our later choice determines how it behaved in the past. This suggests that observation doesn't just influence the present, it seemingly affects the past as well. What does this mean? Reality is not set in stone, it is shaped by observation. The past is not fixed, it can be rewritten based on present choices. Time is not linear, it behaves more like an interconnected web where present choices can shape past events. Connections to your interests. Biblical perspective. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11 verse 1. If reality is shaped by observation, this aligns with the biblical idea that faith and perception create tangible results. Just as the delayed choice experiment shows the past can change, biblical accounts suggest that prayer, belief, and divine intervention can shift past conditions. Walter Russell's teachings. Russell taught that all is mind and light, and what we perceive as matter is simply thought recorded in motion. If reality adjusts based on observation, it suggests that the physical world is an illusion shaped by the act of conscious recognition. Thomas Troward and mental science. Troward emphasized that the mind is the cause, and the material world is the effect. The delayed choice experiment supports the idea that thought, intention, and observation shape not only the present but the past and future as well. How this fits into the path of the unshaken. This experiment is a perfect metaphor for how our choices, beliefs, and awareness shape our reality. It reinforces the idea that your perception does not just determine what happens, it determines what has already happened. Biblical perspective on the delayed choice experiment and the participatory universe. The delayed choice experiment suggests that the observer's decision in the present can influence what happened in the past, reinforcing the idea that reality is not fixed but shaped by consciousness. This aligns with several biblical principles about faith, perception, and divine intervention shaping reality, even retroactively. 1. Reality responds to faith and perception. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Just as quantum mechanics suggests that observation collapses potential into reality, faith acts as the unseen force that brings things into being. Faith operates outside time, meaning what you believe today can affect past and future events, similar to the experiment's findings. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23 verse 7. Your inner perception determines the reality you experience. The experiment shows that reality is not fixed until it is observed, echoing the biblical idea that your beliefs and thoughts shape your world. 2. God's Word as the observer that shapes reality. In the beginning was the Word, Logos, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1 verse 1. Logos, divine intelligence, brought creation into being, just as observation brings quantum states into definite form. If reality is fundamentally informational, it from bit, this parallels how God speaks reality into existence. Let there be light. Genesis 1 verse 3. God calls those things which do not exist as though they did. Romans 4 verse 17. Just as a photon's past is influenced by future observation, the Bible suggests that divine perception, or faith, can alter past, present, and future realities. 3. Prayer, miracles, and the retroactive nature of reality. Jesus turning water into wine. John 2 verses 1 to 11. This could be seen as a restructuring of reality at a fundamental level, much like how quantum events adjust retroactively based on observation. Hezekiah's life extended. 2 Kings 20 verses 1 to 11. Hezekiah was told he would die, but after prayer, God changed the outcome and even moved the sun's shadow backward, an example of time seemingly responding to a new observation, faith. The fig tree withering. Matthew 21 verses 18 to 22. Jesus cursed the fig tree, and it withered, demonstrating that spoken intention shapes physical reality. This aligns with the participatory universe idea that reality is actively shaped by consciousness, not passively existing. 4. The eternal now. God exists beyond time. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Revelation 22 verse 13. The experiment challenges the linear view of time, just as the Bible presents God as existing beyond past, present, and future. Before Abraham was, I am. John 8 verse 58. Jesus refers to himself in the eternal present, much like quantum mechanics suggests that time is fluid and interconnected. How this fits into the path of the unshaken. The delayed choice experiment could be used as a powerful metaphor in your book to illustrate how faith is an act of observation that shapes reality. Spiritual perception determines what is real in your life. God's word and human intention have the power to alter reality, even retroactively. The past, present, and future are interconnected through consciousness and divine will. Walter Russell's teachings and the delayed choice experiment. Walter Russell taught that the universe is a divine thought wave universe, not a material one. His ideas align closely with Jhon Wheeler's delayed choice experiment and participatory universe, reinforcing the concept that reality is shaped by perception, observation, and consciousness rather than being an independent, fixed construct. 1. The illusion of physical reality. Matter is thought and motion. Russell emphasized that matter is not solid or separate from mind. It is simply the manifestation of divine thought in motion. This parallels Wheeler's conclusion that reality is informational, it from bit, meaning that observation, not material substance, determines existence. Pushpin, matter is but the motion of light recorded in wave fields of space. Walter Russell. Small blue diamond. The delayed choice experiment supports this idea by showing that a photon does not have a definite state until it is observed, meaning reality is not material but dependent on perception. 2. The observer shapes reality. The universe is a mental projection. Russell taught that all creation is a product of divine mind, and that human thought is a microcosm of this universal creative process. The delayed choice experiment shows that the way we observe reality determines how it unfolds, even retroactively. This aligns with Russell's idea that our perception creates the reality we experience, rather than reality existing independently of consciousness. Pushpin, man's thinking is God's thinking expressed through man. Walter Russell. Small blue diamond. If observation alters past quantum events, this suggests that reality itself is an ongoing mental projection, much like Russell's idea that the universe is a divine thought wave cycle rather than a physical construct. 3. Time is an effect of motion, not a fixed line. Russell rejected the conventional view of time as a linear sequence, instead describing it as a wave function, cyclic and relative rather than absolute. The delayed choice experiment demonstrates that time is fluid, and choices made in the present can seemingly alter past events, reinforcing the idea that time is not fixed but responsive to consciousness. Pushpin, time is but an effect of motion. It has no existence. Walter Russell. Small blue diamond. This mirrors the experiment's findings, which show that reality unfolds based on how it is observed, and the past can be altered by a present decision, suggesting that time is a function of consciousness rather than an external force. 4. The creative power of thought. Mind precedes matter. Russell taught that man is a co-creator with God and that our thoughts shape reality. If Wheeler's experiment proves that reality is participatory, then this reinforces Russell's principle that consciousness is not passive but an active force in creation. Pushpin, the only real thing in the universe is the thinking of the creator. Walter Russell. Small blue diamond. If the act of observation creates reality, then this means that thought and perception are the fundamental forces shaping existence, not external physical laws. Connections to the path of the unshaken. The delayed choice experiment and Russell's teachings could fit into your book's themes of spiritual perception shaping reality. What you focus on becomes your experience. Faith as a force of creation. The observer's role in physics mirrors the role of faith in manifesting desired outcomes. Mastery over reality through consciousness. Just as the observer determines reality at a quantum level, the unshaken man directs his life through intentional thought and unwavering belief. Thomas Troward's mental science and the delayed choice experiment. Thomas Troward's mental science emphasizes the power of thought, consciousness, and intention in shaping reality. His teachings align closely with the implications of the delayed choice experiment, which suggests that observation determines reality, even retroactively. This connection supports the idea that mind precedes matter, that perception is the creative force of existence, and that faith-based thinking has real, tangible effects on the world, a principle found in both Troward's philosophy and quantum mechanics. 1. Reality is not fixed. It is created by thought and intention. The delayed choice experiment shows that reality remains in a state of potentiality until observed. Troward taught that your thoughts determine your reality, not the other way around. This suggests that the universe is not a rigid, external reality, but a fluid, responsive field shaped by the mind. We are accustomed to think of matter as a solid reality and thought as an impalpable thing, but we shall find that it is just the reverse. Thomas Troward. Small blue diamond. Just as quantum physics shows that observation collapses probability into actuality, Troward's teachings affirm that your focused attention determines what manifests in your life. 2. The law of cause and effect. Mind is the first cause. In traditional physics, cause and effect move forward in time, but the delayed choice experiment suggests that observation in the present can determine what happened in the past. This aligns with Troward's belief that mental causation, belief, faith, and focus, is superior to material causation. The law of cause and effect is absolute, but we can determine the cause from which the effect is to follow. Thomas Troward. Small blue diamond. If your observation determines past events, then reality is not dictated by mechanical laws, but by mental and spiritual laws, just as Troward suggested. 3. The power of faith. Belief structures reality. The Bible teaches that faith is the evidence of things not seen, Hebrews 11 verse 1, meaning that belief precedes material reality. The delayed choice experiment supports this concept by showing that conscious observation brings something into a definite state, even retroactively. Troward taught that faith and mental expectation shape the material world. Pushpin. Belief in limitation is the one and only thing that causes limitation. Thomas Troward. Small blue diamond. If reality conforms to belief and observation, then the principle of faith-based manifestation is scientifically supported. 4. The creative power of mind. Thought is the architect of reality. Troward emphasized that thought is a creative force, and that mental images held with conviction eventually materialize. The delayed choice experiment shows that a choice made in the present alters what was already in place, implying that thought precedes form, and not the other way around. Pushpin. Our thought is the unlimited creative power, and we ourselves are behind our thought, controlling and directing it. Thomas Troward. Small blue diamond. If observation determines how reality unfolds, then your mental focus and perception are the architects of your world, just as Troward asserted. How this fits into the path of the unshaken. Troward's mental science and the delayed choice experiment provide a powerful foundation for themes in your book. The unshaken man is the observer of his reality. He does not passively react to the world. He creates it through intentional focus, faith, and mental discipline. Reality is malleable, not fixed. Your perception determines your experience, reinforcing the book's core message of self-mastery and resilience. Faith and thought are the true creative forces. Just as quantum mechanics suggests that reality conforms to the observer, your mindset, belief, and spiritual awareness determine the quality of your life.